Let's go live now to the Attorney-General Mark Speakman. Thanks so much for your time. It's been quite a couple of days, Mr Speakman. Is the Liberal Party in good hands?
Look, the Liberal Party is in fantastic hands. It has been a pretty fast-moving 72 hours, but what this has demonstrated in New South Wales is the depth of talent we've had. We've lost a Premier, but very quickly we're back on our feet with a fantastic leader for New South Wales, and we're all behind him. And we're now back focused on the biggest job at hand, which is tackling this pandemic, making sure that our hospitals can cope with an influx of COVID patients, making sure we're on the road to recovery with businesses reopening, people back at their workplaces and kids back in school. That's our top priority at the moment, and we've got the depth and the talent and now the strong leadership to do that.
You did warn that Dominic Perrottet would be the most conservative leader in New South Wales since World War II. What were you worried about?
Well, look, I'm not going to speculate on what private conversations MPs have had amongst themselves over the last few days, but what is very clear out of his own mouth is that Dominic Perrottet will be an infrastructure Premier and a family Premier. He will continue what's been happening in the last 10 years under the Liberal National Government, a strong record of infrastructure delivery in New South Wales, on roads, on schools, on hospitals, public transport, cultural facilities, at about double the rate of our Labor predecessors. And he'll also be a family Premier, concentrating on delivering for working families. State government is basically the service delivery tier of government, and it's about making sure that taxpayers and consumers and families have the services they need, have the good schools, have the good hospitals, have safety in our streets with police. And they're all the basic things that Dominic Perrottet and his team are committed to delivering.
You're a moderate, Mark Speakman. Why did you vote for a Conservative leader?
Well, that's a secret ballot, but what is clear is that the whole party, right across its spectrum, is behind Dominic Perrottet because he is someone who can lead us to the next election, but more importantly, deliver right now in this crisis. We are facing the biggest crisis that New South Wales has seen since World War II, and it's incredibly important that there is continuity and stability and predictability and experience in government. Dominic Perrottet brings 5.5 years as the Treasurer. He's right across the board of all issues in New South Wales as the Treasurer. He's had to do that. That experience, I think, will be immeasurably important in the coming weeks as we tackle this pandemic and get New South Wales on the road to recovery.
You say you don't want to go into private conversations, and that's fair enough, but is it fair to say that you did have some reservations? Were those concerns allayed yesterday when you heard Dominic Perrottet speak in the party room and outside?
Look, I've got no concerns. Dominic will be a fantastic Premier. He'll be a Premier for everyone in New South Wales, particularly working families who've been struggling during this pandemic. Rob Stokes would have been a fantastic Premier as well. That's the point about the New South Wales Liberal Party. We are blessed with talent. There is deep talent there, and after the shock of losing our Premier on Friday, we have quickly regained momentum, and we'll be back there today in our Crisis Policy Committee, tackling the immediate issues that everyone wants to tackle, which are making sure that our hospitals can deal with the influx of COVID patients, that our kids can get back to school, that our workers can be back at their places of employment, and that businesses can get back operating.